Okay, so here are my expanded thoughts on A Star Is Born. Wow. I mean, this movie was heavy. It's the one word I keep using to describe the movie. It's heavy. If you've seen the other two incarnations, the one with Judy Garland, which I have not seen that one, I had only seen the one with Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand. Just there, it's just a heavy movie. The subject matter, it's a lot like the movie Crazy Horse, where you got this guy that's like on the down spiral, trying to find his star again. He's still, going and selling out crowds, but he's doing drugs and alcohol, and he stumbles into this bar, and it happens to be a drag club. He's looking for a place where he can get a drink. It's a drag bar, and all these people in drag are doing singing stuff, and then out comes Lady Gaga. And the thing is, like, even though the drag queens are all male, they let this one female singer, because they love how she sings, come up, but she does herself up as if she's like in drag with the high eyebrows and things like that. And there's this really cool thing that Bradley Cooper, he talks like Sam Elliott throughout the whole movie. And come to find out, Sam Elliott's in the movie and plays his older brother. So if I slip into this kind of impersonation, it's just because I'm trying to describe a scene. And so Bradley Cooper discovers basically and spends one night going from to a restaurant, to a late night bar, to like the parking lot of like a grocery store, sitting on the curb, and he gets to bond and meet Lady Gaga's character, who's just like a server. At a hotel, or does banquets, and she finally is like, he starts to, he's like, hey, you want to come to my next show? It's we'll fly out. And I said, oh, no. She's like, I don't want to do that. So she goes home and she goes to sleep. And Andrew Dice Clay is her father in it, and he is so awesome in this movie. So if you're really a Dice fan, you're gonna love this. I really didn't realize that Andrew Dice Clay was in this film. I've been following him on Instagram lately, and he does a lot of funny shit. But he was doing red carpet stuff for A Star Is Born, but I had no idea he was in the movie. So he was a pleasant surprise. His character was great. You really felt he played Lady Gaga's father, and all he ever wanted, he was like a driver, a chauffeur, and all he ever wanted was his daughter to like make it, because she had the best voice in the world, and he knew it. And like, damn, you can feel it coming from him the whole time. And he had a light humor to him, because he had some camaraderie with some of the other drivers, some of the other actors that drove shuttles with him and stuff. So Andrew Dice Clay was fantastic. Sam Elliott played Bradley Cooper's older brother in the movie, and he was really good. There was some really heavy stuff, especially towards the end with Sam Elliott's character, just really throwing out the wisdom. If you've seen the other A Star Is Born, you know that like Chris Christopherson character dies. I think he dies in a car accident. And then Bradley Cooper, they kind of foreshadow this because he has to go into rehab, and he tells this story about hanging himself as a 13-year-old, but he screwed up and didn't do it right, and the ceiling fan came down, and his dad didn't even notice. He was in the other room drunk, and anyway, he winds up hanging himself, and it's really sad, and it's heart-wrenching, and it rips your heart out. And so this movie's heavy, but I will say that there are moments when you cheer, and then there's moments when you cringe, and there's moments where I didn't cry. I had the lump in the throat for a little while there. I didn't look over at my wife to see if she was crying, but she might have been a little teary. I don't know. I'll ask her later. But there was a great moment when Bradley Cooper brings Lady Gaga's reluctant character on stage for the first time at a big arena that he's at with thousands of people. And I'm not really spoiling too much there, because it was in some of the previews and things like that, this scene, but you don't get the full effect until you're in there and you hear it. And my hair stood up on my arms, and it was just this amazing moment. And so, they have this great dog. I'm a big dog lover, so they have a Labradoodle, Bradley Cooper, and having him play with the Labradoodle, that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I enjoyed all the drag queens in the film. They all had these really unique personalities, and in one of the scenes earlier in the film, one of the drag queens has these fake silicone boobs, and she wants Cooper's character, Jackson is his last name, wanted him to write it. And so he took a Sharpie to sign the boobs, and she kept coming out with the rubber boobs, the silicone boobs that had Jackson written on it, and that was funny. Um, and and so yeah, I mean, it's just the music is fantastic. Bradley Cooper did it all his own singing, and all that music's already available. If you go to Spotify or something and type in, A Star Is Born, you can listen to all the songs. He like wrote the songs. The direction was great. Everything was beautiful. There were some shots like when Bradley Cooper, there's this beautiful shot where he's waiting to walk in to see Lady Gaga, who's rehearsing in a mirror with some dancers. And it's like a profile shot like this, and she's in the distance, and she's out of focus and he's in the foreground. So but it's a beautiful shot. The composition was just amazing, and beautiful shots. There's this great scene on a motorcycle where as the camera's pulling away and the motorcycle's riding off with their characters, Lady Gaga's on the back. This one beautiful move where he's got the handlebars like this, and he just drops one hand, and when he does, he just rubs her calf. And like, it was just a great moment. I mean, this movie was peppered with these beautiful things. And you really feel for the characters. And then when Bradley Cooper commits suicide, which is heart-wrenching, because Lady Gaga's character's on stage at the Forum, I think in Los Angeles, with a sold-out crowd, and she's singing, and he was supposed to go meet there and be with her to do the encore. And, he didn't go, and there's this one character everyone's going to hate, and he winds up turning out to be the villain. And as an actor, I always feel bad for these actors that get these roles that forever people will hate them. But he was like the promoter that like started helping out Lady Gaga and crafting her and getting her where she needed to be. And started, we need to add dances he was Australian. So we need to add dances, and you have to trust me, and we're going to make you millions of dollars, and blah, 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 blah. And so he had this one come to Jesus moment with Bradley Cooper, because Jackson's character was so drunk when Lady Gaga's character, Allie, was winning the Grammy, and she's up on stage winning the Grammy, and he stumbles on drunk, and then he's like looking up at the screen and stuff, and then next thing you know, he's standing next to her and he just wets his pants, and then he falls over, and it was like, you felt like, I can't believe he screwed this moment up for Lady Gaga, or Allie is the character. And you're like, wow, God, I can't believe he did that. But at the same time, you feel so sorry for him. And so her manager, this Australian guy, he says to Bradley Cooper, we all know how this is going to play out. You're going to fuck her over again. You're going to get drunk. You're going to fall off the wagon, blah, 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 blah. She's getting ready to do a European tour, and you can't come. Although Lady Gaga has been telling him, I'm having a European tour. I want you to come with me. I want you to do this. And then she lays on the night she's supposed to be at the Forum, and he's supposed to come and sing with her. They're in bed earlier in the day, and this is after he had just Bradley Cooper's character had just been like ridiculed by the Australian guy, and he's laying in bed, and Lady Gaga comes in, she lays her head on him, and she's like, you know what, I've decided, I talked to so-and-so, which was the Australian manager. I don't remember the character's name, sorry. And she says, I talked to him, and he said, we're going to cancel the European leg, and I'm going to stay home with you, and I'd rather stay home with you, and blah, 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 blah. And, you could see the look on Bradley Cooper's face, like, she's lying to me. She's going to sacrifice everything for me. And she's making this up because that asshole was just here, and he just told me I'm a worthless piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. So he's like, you go to the Forum tonight. I'll be there later. I'll drive myself for the encore. And he decides it's better off that he kills himself and is not involved in her life so that she can become the star. You know, he found her, his star was fading, her star was rising, and he didn't want to be the guy that held her back. And so at least that was his mental process, plus all the pain that he had gone through his whole life. And that was one of the things that they talked about in the movie was, you know, it's who you are and what your voice is that people want to hear and what stories you want to tell. And so, you know, a lot of his songs were all about the pain that he went through and things like that. And Ally, Lady Gaga's character, you know, started telling those kind of stories too. And, you know, the whole movie was just absolutely beautiful from a cinematography standpoint, from an editing standpoint, a pacing standpoint. The film didn't feel long or drag in any places. And what was so beautiful about all the interactions in the film, and Dave Chappelle was in the movie. I haven't even talked about Dave Chappelle. It's funny. There was one other comedian that was in the film too. There were like 3 comedians: Andrew Dice Clay, Dave Chappelle. They were all kind of peppered through the film, and I wonder if that had to do with people's relationships and who they knew. But Dave Chappelle, man, he was so good, and he was barely in the film, but you know, that's the beauty, the chemistry between all these actors. You really felt that they were connecting. I almost feel like in certain scenes, like the one with Dave Chappelle, I'm watching it and I'm thinking if some of it might have been improv and they just kind of let these guys kind of banter back and forth in these scenes, but they were emotional scenes. So, you know, you couldn't veer off too much from the script, but at the same time, you know, I feel like you know, it didn't feel over rehearsed. I mean, it just felt natural, like you were a fly on the wall and that you weren't watching a movie. You were just watching their lives play out. It was great. And, you know, if I had to rate this film, I'd say 5 stars for everything. And the award season, forget it. You're going to have best songs. You're going to have best picture. You're going to have director. Bradley Cooper's going to get and for his first film, if he doesn't get nominated for this, the Academy's full of shit. He'll get nominated for this, I'm telling you. And it would be a shame if he was passed up. So anyway, those are my expanded thoughts on the movie. I absolutely love this film. So go see A Star Is Born. If you like this video, comment below, like it, share it on social media, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you on the next one.